it's Judi here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going through Thursday's Direct, analyzing some of the smaller details, and sort of just summarizing all of the new information that we've learned. I want to start off by noting right here where Tom Nook says deep dive into deserted island life. Could deep dive be an allusion to swimming returning to Animal Crossing? Given our island location, it would only make sense to have this feature. I also want to note that you can see the shadows of the passing clouds in the background. The shading and the graphics of this game just add so much atmosphere and it looks absolutely beautiful. We've already seen this scene last year, but it is worth noting that there does appear to be a new butterfly species. Given the new museum, it makes sense to have new creatures to catch, but we'll get into that later. I'm really happy to see the diving beetle return in this game. It really reminds me of when I was younger, going around with my friends with a net and trying to catch all the frogs in the pond. I also want to point out the blue tent in the background. It seems like there's different tent styles that we can get, so we don't all have to live in a yellow triangle in this game. Going back to my point about the graphics, look at the water glistening in this scene. That looks amazing. Also here, Bunny can be seen eating a popsicle. This could just be a random animation, or maybe there's a little cafe where we can get treats. One way or another, I think this game's gonna have new holdable objects. In this next scene, you can actually see the rain falling in different directions with the wind. You can even see how misty the sky is and how the ground is wet. Just the graphics, like I said, so much atmosphere. And the next scene, you can see the sunset is making an orange gradient along the river. It just looks so wonderful. This next scene is significant to me for two reasons. First of all, you can actually see a shovel in the background, which indicates that we'll be able to use our tools as outdoor decoration items. Also in the front, there's a leaf pile that's mixed between greens and browns. I think that this means that the leaves are going to change throughout the year. And since this is not quite summer and not quite fall, the leaves are still a mixture of the different colors. The waves now crash against the rocks. Here you can see that the airport is green. This is going to change throughout the Direct, and I'll let you know as it happens. In this scene, you can see there's another water gliding insect. I'm really excited about this because I think it's so cool that we can use our nets on land and in the water. I also want to point out that in this scene, Timmy and Tommy literally look like they're glowing. The graphics on them look so amazing, and you can even see their fur. This is a really cool feature. We're finally able to decide which hemisphere we live in. Previously, everyone lived in the northern hemisphere, so if you lived in the southern hemisphere, your seasons in the game were the opposite of what you had in real life. But now, your real life and your Animal Crossing gameplay will finally be in sync. Here we can see that catchable snowflakes have made a return. In New Leaf, players had to catch these and then collect them and give them to the Snow Woman. While this could confirm snowman families are coming back to New Horizons, I think that snowflakes are going to be serving a different purpose in this game, and I'll get into that later. This has to be one of my favorite scenes from the Direct. Just look at the petals in the water, it's so beautiful. In this scene, we can see a new elephant villager who's looking really cool, and there's also these lanterns that I'm really excited to put on my island. I really like the way they look. In this scene, we can see a tree stump with mushrooms growing on it and also a flattened rock. I think that this rock is actually a craftable stool, as it looks different than the rocks the player hits to get resources. Look how beautiful these graphics are. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Look at the leaf falling in the water, oh my goodness. And look at the frost on the tree leaves. The northern lights look so beautiful here, and you can even see the light glowing from the moon and the fires. Throughout the Direct, you can see scattered resources like the wood near this tree. It could be for aesthetics, or maybe every day there's going to be some resources scattered around town. That way you can gather them even if you don't have the right tools. Did you see the new mushrooms? They're giant! I wonder if the player crafts them, or do those just spawn in the fall? When we shake a tree with lights, an ornament falls out. Does that mean that we can craft Christmas decorations? I really hope that we can put them on our roof. That would be so cool, and that's something everyone's wanted for so long. In this scene, the airport is yellow, which kind of confirms that we're going to get different colored airports, but do you think that we're going to get to pick the color, or do we just have to keep resetting and hope we get what we want? I also wonder if we're going to be able to customize it like our train station in New Leaf. What do you think? Let's face it, we all have that one villager that we absolutely hate because they destroyed all of our golden roses, or maybe they just ruined our path, but still, why did they have to move there? Luckily in this game, we're able to decide where our villagers live, so we won't have to have this hatred anymore. This game does have a lot of freedom, but we can't just instantly craft anything we want. I mean, first of all, of course we have to gather the resources, but we're also going to need little crafting recipes. We can buy these from Timmy and Tommy, complete little tasks, or even just talk with our villagers to get them. I really hope though that they're not going to be too hard to collect, because I remember unlocking public works projects in New Leaf was a struggle. Like, it took me 5 years to get the police station. In order to customize our furniture, Tom Nook gives us like a little workshop lesson, and then we're able to do it using this weird material that looks a bit like gasoline from OK Motors. I'm not quite sure what that is or how we get it, but I guess it'll be interesting to find out. I do feel like Cyrus should be coming to our island though. Like, he should come and visit us, and he should be the one to teach us how to craft things. I've never seen Tom Nook customize anything before. Where is Cyrus? You know, that's kind of what I'm wondering. Has Cyrus been removed? There's a lot to take in this scene, but the main thing I want to point out is the pillows. That sofa there, which seems like the cabin sofa, and also those log chairs, did not have pillows later in the direct, and I'll point out when that happens, but do you think that we're going to be able to add and remove pillows? Also, that book on the table looks a lot like an encyclopedia for butterflies. Do you think we're going to be able to actually read it? I'm just going to straight up say I love the idea of sending postcards, and I think it makes perfect sense to do that on an island. But I do wonder, are we not going to get the post office? I mean, where's Phyllis, Pelly, and Pete? I also think it's kind of weird that we still can't send letters to our friends' towns. Maybe we can and they just didn't show that here, but it is a feature I was really hoping for in this game. Similarly to New Leaf, we start off in a little tent with a stereo and a lantern. Although we're living on a deserted island, it apparently has pretty good reception, as Nook just gives us a free phone, or maybe the phone's free because it doesn't work that well. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to have on an island, but I still think it's a cute feature, and over time we're going to be able to unlock new apps, which is going to be interesting to discover. So every morning, Nook holds these little island-wide broadcast things, which are pretty cute. They remind me of the news flashes in Tomodachi Life, where they basically just tell you everything new that's going on and, you know, basically the news for the day. This does make me wonder though, do we have the police station in this game? Because that's basically what Booker and Cooper did. There's this new program called Nook Miles in the game, and if you're not familiar with it, it's basically kind of like the daily goals of Pocket Camp, or if you haven't played Pocket Camp, like the Meow Points in New Leaf. The thing that's kind of weird about it though is, like, if we're just completing these little goals and we get little stamps for each goal, do we still get badges from Phineas? Or is Phineas not in the game anymore either? Also here, where the player is trading in her Nook Miles to get some new items, there's hairstyle recipes. So has Harriet been removed too? Because we're not going to need to go to a hairdresser if we can just craft our hair ourselves. I really love thunderstorms, and I honestly think that with the new wind feature, storms in Animal Crossing could get really interesting. Maybe after a strong storm, there's going to be more branches on the ground around the trees. When I saw the player pass out after getting stung by the wasp, I was so confused. Because, like, that has never happened before. I know scorpions and tarantulas can make you pass out, but a wasp? But now that I think about it, I think it might actually be, like, the second sting is what makes you pass out. Because I remember when I've been landscaping, I get stung by one bee, and then I just go on. Because if I get stung by a second bee, it doesn't matter, it doesn't make it any worse, you know? I'm already stung, my face already has the bandage on it, so I don't really care anymore. So I never took medicine in the older games. But in this game, you can actually buy multiple bags of medicine at once. Which makes me wonder, maybe you're going to be able to keep buying medicine and keep using medicine every time that you get stung. Because if you get stung a second time, that's when you pass out. And being teleported back to your house every time you get stung is going to be really annoying. So that will give players a lot of incentive to actually use the medicine. In population growing, there was this nighttime activity, and it would happen every now and then where Wisp would show up in your town and he'd ask you to catch his 5 spirits. It seems like that feature has returned in this game, which not only provides us night owls with a new nighttime activity, but also it's really cute and really nostalgic to include a feature from the GameCube version. In other news, after 18 years of sailing, well, with a brief intermission of UFO flying, but still, years and years of sailing, Gulliver still has absolutely no idea how to sail. I mean, at least he tries. Rossetti feels bad for always making us cry when we were younger, so he's decided he's going to start rescuing us. I think that this feature might actually be put in place so that if we fail at landscaping, we can get out of the situation, but I'll get more into that later. There's a new home decorating mode which looks really smooth and beautiful, and also I just want to point out how we can actually move multiple objects on the wall at once, and it seems like we can move them freely too. They're not moving block by block in this scene. Home expansions are back, and it seems like we can expand them about the same size as New Leaf. As you can see, the first floor has 4 rooms, and we haven't seen the top or bottom yet. We can use our Nook Miles to go on these really cool little tours to abandoned islands. This is a really great way if you don't have Nintendo Switch Online to collect exotic fruits and stuff that you'd usually get at your friends' towns. It'll also be really fun to just explore and raid these random islands. So if you run through flowers, they wither, but you can apparently dig them with a shovel and they'll be fine? I'm not sure how this works. Maybe this is just something about the tour islands that's different. bamboo is now fluffy. Here you can see the log chair has no pillow on it, and when she runs over to the other side, you can see the cabin sofa also no longer has a pillow on it. So can we add pillows? Having one console multiplayer is something that and I'm sure a lot of you have wanted for a long time as well. So I'm very excited to see this feature. We're going to have a smartphone app that's going to allow us to download QR codes. Now this is really cool because if we have some favorite QR codes from Newly for a Happy Home Designer, we're going to be able to use those because it's going to be the same formatting. We can also use the app as an easier way to send messages in the game and even to voice chat the people that we're playing with. And I'm sure we're all going to have a lot of fun playing with this feature together. The app won't be released immediately, but it's going to come out shortly after New Horizons. And I'm sure we're all going to want to explore islands a little bit on our own before we get together anyways. This house is touching the river. There's not even one block of space. That is amazing. There's just so much freedom. We are going to have different buildings on our island, and I especially love the little glass window on the Able Sisters display. I think it looks so cute. This museum is insane. I want to live in this museum. I don't even need the rest of the island. I can just be happy. I can live a happy life in the museum. It seems like the dressing room allows you to purchase even more clothing than what's on display at the Able Sisters. Also, we can move buildings. We can move our house, we can move our shops, we can move our villagers, we can move everything. And this is so amazing to me because I am so indecisive. Isabel is going to be our secretary. Well, not our, kind of like Tom Nook's secretary, but her job is pretty much similar to what it was in New Leaf. Like I said in my prediction video, animals are indeed going to be visiting our island. I do still wonder if we're going to be able to do something with them from there, like maybe invite them to stay permanently, either on our island or a neighboring island. Maybe there's going to be lots of small neighboring islands. We already know from what Harvey just said that he's going to have a neighboring island, so do the other ones too? Also, this wand, this outfit wand, is so amazing. We don't have to shove clothing in our mail anymore. Also, I originally thought that the younger characters would work in our town permanently and the older characters would still run the tourneys, but here we can see Daisy Mae, Flick, and Chip Jr. all running tourney events or selling turnips. So have their older versions of themselves been eliminated from the game? I don't know, what do you guys think? Holidays have returned in the form of free updates, and this is kind of interesting to me because if they're coming in the form of updates, does that mean that they could be just a little different every year? I think that would keep the game really interesting. Island designer. So what does that do? So she's going to, what is she? Oh, it's paths. Okay. So you can just plow little paths. So it looks like there's different materials, which is cool. Oh, and you can make a sandbox. That's pretty creative. I like that idea. And now waterscape. Wait, waterscaping. What? What is that? So we can now edit terrain? We can edit the cliff too? Oh my goodness. This is literally the possibilities. The possibilities are endless. We could make a little island in the shape of a heart and put our house in the middle, or we could make little bunny-shaped lakes, or I don't know why I'm just thinking about the water aspect, but we can shape our terrain. Every island is going to look so unique. So basically, just summarize everything we've seen today and everything else you can also see on Nintendo's website. This game is perfect. It is basically pretty much flawless in every single which way. If you're interested, I am going to be filming a Let's Play series of this game, so we can all build an island together. My final question for all of you is, which NPCs do you think will be returning and which do you think will be eliminated? We mentioned quite a few today, and I'm interested in finding out what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!